Climate change isn't only affecting humans, other animal species and plants are at the risk of extinction and threatened by climate change and severe weather. According to International Union for Conservation of Nature, IUCN, over 6,000 animals, fungi and plants may face extinction. Climate change mitigation and adaptation has been taken on in different ways, and Uganda, on top of conservation education and other nature-based solutions, constituted a wildlife court to check issues related to wildlife conservation, headed by Her Worship Gladys Kamasanyu. Her Worship Gladys Kamasanyu at COP28 during a panel discussion organized by World Wildlife Fund, WWF, shared why it is necessary to have the judiciary at the forefront of climate mitigation and adaptation, and more so, a special wildlife court.
Protected areas and their inhabitants do not speak. They highly depend on us, but who depend on them more than they depend on us, actually, to speak out for them, to ensure that they survive. It means that each day we have a chance to wake up alive. We have a high opportunity of making a choice to speak out, to do the right thing, to ensure that the protected areas and their inhabitants survive. Now, because they don't speak, they don't have a chance to seek for justice. Yeah?
That's true.
They don't have a chance to go to the police to report any wrongdoing that has been occasioned to them. They don't have an opportunity to follow up on their own cases as complainants, as victims. They don't have a chance to tell their stories in court as witnesses. Courts don't have a chance to know their pain and make a decision after knowing and assessing the situation clearly. Okay. So, these cases do not have a victim. The victim usually is dead. But even when they are survivors, because they are what they are, they don't have that opportunity. Now, leaving cases to do with our habitats and their inhabitants tried in among all other cases, it brings the risk of those cases because they have nobody, no victim, visible victim who will come hurting before us and seek for justice and plead. We see them cry and they say, help, help, help. As humans, by human nature, we won't care so much. As long as there's a human being who is a victim, it's a loss of several lives of wildlife, for example, and say there's another loss of lives of humans. It's so possible that a human judge will be compelled to act faster in a case where the fellow human being is involved. It's human nature. Now, if we want to see our cases involving our natural habitats on top of the agendas of courts for the day, then it means we should treat them special and accord them that special attention. I think our government had the will to solve the problem. We tried these cases before in all other courts elsewhere in the country. Wherever crime related to wildlife was committed, the courts are all over, everywhere in the country. There are courts. We tried to have these cases tried there. And this is the outcry we got from our stakeholders. There were delayed trials, lack of attention, that negativity by not just the judiciary, but even other stakeholders, even those people that are actually charged with the very duty to conserve, not really giving so much attention. There was also a complaint that the punishments that courts were giving after a long wait of knowing your fate, yeah, as you who took the case, especially the agencies that took the cases to court, there's maybe a conviction, but also the punishment that comes after the conviction. Complaints were that they were not fitting the kind of crime that would be committed. So they were not deterrent enough. Those who are being punished were not feeling punished. If you don't feel punished, then it means you're encouraged to commit crime the following day, all that time, there and then. We had complaints of culprits even telling law enforcement officers, you've taken me to court, we shall meet in the evening. And indeed they would meet. Take them to court, enter court, get out. And they meet in the village, in the community later in the evening. So, after realizing that those complaints actually had some truth, because we live in the same world, the same country with whoever was complaining. So we came up. Judiciary was convinced that there was need to have a specialized court only handling environmental and wildlife cases, criminal cases. And that's how it all came. It wasn't very hard, but it involved some steps being taken. Like us, I was involved from the first day of those ideas to visit stakeholders, engage them, know their expectations, but also to know the challenges they had, to clearly hear from them the challenges they had in those courts elsewhere in the country, to know their expectations, and also to put to them our expectations, to know that we are an arm of the state. The judiciary is a key stakeholder in the enforcement of wildlife laws, environmental laws, and these are laws that protect our protected areas. Yeah? They are key stakeholders in the enforcement of national climate change laws that we enact every day. They are key stakeholders, judiciaries, as key stakeholders in the protection of the environment, in the protection of nature, of the world, in the protection of community. Yeah? That's why when things go wrong, we are there. Now, where I come from, and I mean Uganda, judiciary derives their mandate from the people of Uganda. And that is what our constitution says under Article 126(1). It says, judicial power is derived from the people of Uganda, and it shall be exercised in conformity with the law, but also in accordance with the norms and aspirations of the people of Uganda. It means the power we have comes from the people. We have to exercise it in accordance with the law, but also taking care of what matters for the people of Uganda. Now, Uganda has, like many African countries, has many protected areas, national parks, reserves, forests, and everything. Yeah? These are homes to wildlife. And the same Constitution of the Republic of Uganda vests natural resources, protected spaces, those protected areas in the state to hold the same in trust for the general good of the people of Uganda. Because we each cannot keep our elephants, our lions, our python, our tree, so the government keeps them for our own good, to make sure they are there, we are using them, and those who come after us will find them still existing. Now, the judiciary then, the judges, should be able to understand the law, be able to interpret it correctly, and therefore enforce it correctly. The judiciary should be able to appreciate efforts of each other stakeholder that is in the fight against climate change. in the fight to combat the crisis that we are dealing with today. Judicial officers should understand where we are, what we are dealing with, and be able to prioritize it, to be able to give it more time, more understanding, appreciate the issue, and be able to give a just decision, a decision that is just to nature, because nature deserves justice. A decision that does not take away, kill, destroy everything that we have. I want you to imagine a court passing a decision, for example, giving a natural forest to a community. It's a court that has made the decision. And that's not a decision that you wake up and just protest and it goes away. It has to be the next court to take away the decision legally. And it's a process. So that means by the time the next court acts, a lot will have happened. The forest, the protected area will not be there, will not be the same. Whatever will have been taken away is taken away forever. The ecosystem is altered, the biodiversity is gone, and all efforts to bring back whatever has been taken away may not actually yield a thing. As we know, nature is nature. When it is altered forever. So, judges have a huge role to play. Now, it takes a judiciary that appreciates that there is loss. There is damage, there's need to act. Once you have that judiciary, you have the judicial officers appreciate that. I can assure you life will be very easy because they will know what to do to protect the areas that have where the loss has occasioned, but also to save the people. Because we shouldn't be looked at as those who are just there to only wait for things to go wrong and we act. Then this will be a bad game. Yeah, we'll be taken to be as witch hunters. Our people will not understand what we are doing. So the decision that courts should make should be the decision that helps to solve the problem